Hello, hello. I hope everyone is doing good. Hey Donna, hope you're well. Hope your weekend was okay. Volvo, buenas tardes. All right, let's draw. Going to try and keep poses for the most part on the relatively shorter side. Like, you know, we'll start with a 10 and see where we go. There's maybe one or two that will go longer, but I'd like to try and keep, these are very lively, active poses. And so I feel like they really kind of lend themselves to more of a gestural, somewhere in between gesture and something a little more finished. All right, so I've got the first pose up. Let me change the camera. Welcome new members, by the way. You will find a link to the reference in the community chat. So if you go to the community chat tab on my channel, hop over there and you'll find the link. Should be the first post down too, I think. Okay. Yeah, I had a good weekend. What did I do? Didn't do much yesterday. Did the whole catching up on some TVs thing. All right, let me start the timer. What did I do Saturday? Oh, all right. Maybe I'll tell you about Saturday later. Saturday had a moment of horrificness, which I will share with you. You see, that'll keep you here. It was quite a doozy. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Clock has started. Oh, just looking for my glasses. Jeff says, as a follow-up to your being sleep deprived the other day, wondering out loud about doctors or pilots. It happened on the 25th of February. Both pilot and co-pilot fell asleep for 30 minutes and went off course. I read the headline about that, Jeff. Yes. The timing was quite something, right? Yeah, I didn't actually get into the article itself, but I did see that headline. It was like, luckily, the sky is a fairly open space, but 30 minutes? And both of them? One could argue there is a lapse in protocol in that situation. Really got some lovely angles with this model. Lovely relationship between the upper and the lower torso. And this leg going right down in this direction. This leg kind of going out this way. And then back. Yeah, I'm surprised the airline even admitted to that. It feels like the kind of thing you'd want to keep under wraps. Horrendous. Could you imagine being on that flight, finding out after the fact? Kind of like the way this arm goes back in space this way and kind of comes forward. It's got a nice dynamic about it. And while I'm not a huge fan of drawing weapons, I do think that that blade kind of extends a rhythmical idea there. All right. Large ideas. Let's find our oblique. It's going to be coming up there. Just subdividing. Pectoral. Navel, something about there. See very clearly the division between the front and the side of the thigh here. That sartorius coming down in this direction, connecting beside the knee. Between that and the rectus femoris, you get this very, very clear idea of this type of shape. Right? Great way to subdivide. Okay, so the oblique is sitting there. Then we can see that gluteus sitting about there. Out of curiosity, asks Volvo, do you have a routine or recommendation for getting the rubbish out of your head before you sit down to draw, other than a stiff drink? Well, I would say a stiff drink would be not a long-term strategy. That could end badly. No, I don't really. I think I allow myself a few minutes once I start drawing to hopefully be able to kind of get that stuff out of my head. But you know, sometimes though, like not so much during streams, but I actually sometimes find just through the course of drawing, it almost acts like a form of meditation. I've said this before, like, you know, especially if you can find flow state, if you're lucky to have one of those sessions where it, you know, it appears, then, you know, you tend to just you know what it is? Sorry, I'm rambling. I'm trying to get my thoughts together on this because I think it's an interesting kind of concept. Because it's not always achievable. But I like to, or I would like to think I've got to a point with the drawing, like it's, whoa, well that's not a good start. Especially with a, you know, a simpler pose, that the drawing is kind of automatic at this point, to some degree or another. And so it can give me an opportunity to actually think about some of the things that are bothering me or that need addressing, if that makes sense. I think it actually speaks to something else that we've discussed before, which is you just can't wait for the perfect environment, physically or mentally, to decide to do something. I think it's good to just, you know, create a routine, sit down and just draw. And I think you'll find that those things will hopefully go from your head pretty quickly and you can focus on the task at hand. We're at 8 minutes. Okay. Like, obviously this drawing will not be a finished drawing, but it's almost, to some degree, kind of the point with gesture and faster pose drawings. I don't really mind if there's unfinished, as long as I've said generally what it is that I want to say with the pose. That will do. It doesn't really matter if it's finished. And I'm kind of almost at that point right now with this one. I've kind of hit all the large ideas for the most part. And there's our 10. I'm going to leave it there. All right. Strong Yorkshire tea, most likely. Cheers, Donna. I know you're a Tetley person, but as I said, we'll let that slide. All right, next pose. Exactly, Volvo. You sit down every day after lunch and just think it's draw time. You know, I'll give you a classic case in point. Something, the thing that which I think is somewhat comparable to some degree. I'm getting back into running, which is, you know, not easy at the best of times. And I have to not think about it. I have to literally just go, okay, it's time to run. And I go upstairs and just, I try not to even think about it. I just put on the running gear and I go out and I run. And before I know it, I'm actually enjoying it. But talk about something that's easy to talk yourself out of. Very easy to look outside over here, especially in the UK, look outside and go, I'll stay inside. You know, it's wet and dreary out and kind of cold. It'd be so easy to not do it. And I'm really, that's my struggle. So, just running up the stairs is enough workout for me. Well, you and me both, Donna, and that's what I want to try and change. Let's go for another 10. You know, I had so little activity last year, really, that I need to be more active. Okay. Once again, the model's making it quite easy for us and just providing us with really rich source material here. Lovely foreshortened leg, his right leg coming towards us. And if we actually look, the knee is sitting probably about here, the thigh is completely foreshortened, and then tibia coming down this way. leg going back like so. He's obviously in mid-air. Certainly one of the advantages of working from reference is we can get poses like this. Sternocleidomastoid coming this way, continuing this line of action, right? This rhythmical center line that we've got running down the form. Sternocleidomastoid is so useful for that. Okay. Really a crest coming up this way, and we can see that really from the rib cage, the oblique really bunched up here, as much as possible for someone as lean as our subject. Sitting in there. Okay. Easiest. Oh, Donna, you've no idea. I ran a few times last week, and it's one thing I can tell you, you younger kids, recovery time slows down significantly as you get older. My knees felt like I'd been hit with a baseball bat. It was brutal. But that too will get better with time. That's what I tell myself. Right? Please tell me it's true. And yes, the endorphins, I think, are a very nice byproduct of that. Okay, hamstring coming down this way. Okay, let's try and bring some clarity to a few things here. Long stretch on this side, coming up to the rib cage. Yeah, got that compression here, so we can see like the latissimus, and even here it's kind of like the bulk of the latissimus. And we've got some compression in there. All right, forearm. Getting down to the straightness of the wrist, the box-like appearance of the wrist, and then into the fingers. Trapezius coming down this way. Pectoral. Drawing is my way to de-stress from the day, says Jeffrey. Yeah. I do nothing more than shading exercise of pencil or charcoal on the paper or centering. Absolutely. And you know what? I think that there's, even if it's a short session or whatever, like, there's something so nice to knowing that you sat down and you did something for your own personal development, you know, on a given day, even if it's short. It's such a nice feeling. Okay. Something like that. Clavicle. Coming out this way. Where are we at? 9 minutes. Yikes, I said this was a 10, didn't I? Okay. Let me, what have I been doing with my time? Can't even blame talking. Okay. All right, 10:45, close enough. This is some serious hold music. Emmy, I agree. Look at that. Fast forward. I need to deal with the music situation. Trust me, I think about the music situation for this stream more than I should. I have to use one of those services, you know the type, where you get, I won't say it's royalty free, because I pay for the royalty, but it's a service that basically YouTube clears as usable. The problem is, for the genres of music I'm prepared to play on this stream, I've pretty much tapped out the library for the most part. So I try to, you know, mix it up a little. But a lot of the problem with these services is there's some great tracks, but a lot of it feels like elevator music. That's a problem. So I was thinking of switching to another service, but then it's another job I have to do, and yeah, you know, not very high on the priority list until it's stream time, and I then have the angst of, oh, here we go again with the same 25 songs. Love the way you throw down lines, says Chris. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Just throwing down some lines, so sometimes they land in the right place. To a point I remember Richard once made, to grow, you have to have some structure to your drawing practice. Yeah, it's. I think especially in the beginning, Jeffrey, those simple spheres, you know, that's a nice little quick practice in itself. Camille says, is it possible to draw a good pose from imagination? I think so, Camille. Here's my recommendation for that. Let's do something from my imagination. I'm just going to pick a really simple pose, right? And I think this is also what's great about this exercise is it's a great way for us to test our knowledge, right? You've seen me do this same process 1,000 times, like when we're doing the figure. But you know, I'm just drawing from imagination. It's like drawing. It's imagination, memory, a mix. And I think it's good to pick a pose that isn't too challenging, right? Something like this that you can test. You can test your knowledge. That's what's important, because it will tell you what it is that you still need to work on. It'll tell you where your gaps in your knowledge are, etc. Right? But just to do something, a quick exercise like this. Now, once you can do poses like this, then I would say, okay, now it's time to challenge yourself. Pick a slightly harder pose in your mind's eye. What's that going to be? You know, this is, as I said, this is probably about as simple as a pose can get. But even with a pose like this, it tells me, okay, I understand this, or I don't understand that, or I need to work on something. And just go through. It doesn't have to be a complex drawing, you know, just go through, work out some ideas. But you know, the whole point of this system that we draw during these live streams, the system that I'm teaching, that was taught to me, in fairness, I didn't come up with it, is if we can build our vocabulary, we can draw from our imagination, right? This is no different to me sitting down and talking to you guys. I'm kind of, to some degree, I'm using the same set of skills. I have a particular idea in my mind of what the grammar should be for something, and I can, hopefully, I can just bring that to the table, right? Simple. I'm not saying it's simple, I mean, the concept is simple, of drawing from your imagination. I think it's important to do it. I used to do it a lot more than I do these days. I would say there was one point, if you'd asked me, I'd say 50% of everything I draw is imagination-based. You know, nowadays, maybe not quite so much, but yeah. And then, you know, start with a simple pose like that. Know what it is that you understand, and what it is that you don't. and then you know what to study. So I do a lot of my drawing practice with the wife and kid in the room. I do not use reference, just imagination, and do a back or arm or leg, then use the anatomy app to check my work. Jeffrey, I think that's absolutely, obviously understandable that you know your environment suggests that you need to work that way. I would say though that you'll get visual cues from the reference that you need to develop that vocabulary, that imaginary vocabulary, right? And you get that through working with reference, I think. So don't try and find a balance if you can, you know? If you exclusively work from imagination and say an anatomy app, I feel like you're maybe missing out on opportunities, although I know it's tricky when you're you're dealing with other people that you need to be mindful of. Okay, this is the third pose. The last one was a freebie. Okay, set the clock. I'm going to keep going with the, I think this can be a 10. Some nice ideas here. On its surface, it looks like, oh, well, there's, you know, how much is there to this pose? But I think it's actually got some interesting dynamics. Let's see what we can do. So he's kind of going away from us, but then, yeah, it's interesting. And then this arm is kind of going up this way. I think what really interests me with this pose is kind of what's happening in this area and then down this leg. Because we've got some really nice dynamics of this leg kind of coming towards us. So oblique is sitting there. Knee is going to be about here. Well, it's all quite foreshortened. Yeah, that'll do for now. Yeah, this music's a little painful, isn't it? Here, let me try and find something else. Oh, I did start the timer. Okay, good. Let's just go with something a little bit more cinematic. Okay. Hey, Lulu. Exactly. Yeah. Just reading your comment about glancing at a word. Yeah, just and like learning a language, it does take time. Okay, so this arm is kind of going off in this direction. Not too concerned about it. So it's really not the thing that I want to focus on. Now, it is tricky though to kind of figure out where the scapula's coming in. Yeah, this is actually a complex little passage in this area here. All right, you guys want to hear about one of the most outrageous things that ever happened to me over the weekend? So, you know, it's not really spring. Well, I guess, I don't know technically whether it's spring here yet, but, you know, we're all kind of willing it along. And in my attempt to will it along, I decided on Saturday morning to pull out the strimmer and do a bit of strimming in the backyard and just, you know, tidy up the patio, etc. And we have a very old cat, right? He's seen better days. So why does that matter? Well, this cat, one of the challenges we have with this cat right now is his unwillingness to go to the bathroom in the areas that he has always gone to the bathroom. You know, out in the garden, he has several spots that he'll find, and, you know, he'll use those spots, and it's all been good. Until recently, he's got we think he's got scared of the back garden ever since a wild cat, or a cat not ours, decided to start trying to get into the house to get the food. Anyway, so he's been tending to go to the bathroom closer to the house than he usually would. And he decided to go a few days ago, we think. Do you know where this is going? You think you do, but you don't. Yeah, so he's been going closer to the house and in unusual areas. And also his bowel movements have been getting, let's just say, less regular. They're a little more fluid, let's say. Why am I sharing this story? I have no idea. See, this is what happens when you've got 4 hours to kill a week. Anyway, I'm strimming under the cat door, and I suddenly get sprayed like a whip of liquid that comes up the middle of my torso, across my face, into my hair, and I'm standing there covered in cat poo, liquid cat poo. And then you're like, you know, obviously everything comes to a screeching halt, but then you have to deal with this situation that you're in. And I had to, like, literally, you know, run into the house. Of course, my wife does not hear my cries for help, because she was up in a different part of the house. And I basically, yeah, I had to take emergency action to make the situation better. And then, of course, there's all the cleanup outside of the tools and the whole area, which now stinks. So yeah, that's how I spent my Saturday morning. You did ask. Maybe you didn't. Yeah, outrageous. Just absolutely horrific situation to find yourself in. So there you go. Oh, it wasn't hilarious, T2. Let me tell you, some choice words were had about that cat. Luckily for him, he wasn't in earshot, or he probably would have got a mouthful. Although I know what everyone will say is he doesn't know any better and it's not his fault. Yeah, maybe. Part of me that feels like he sometimes does these types of things out of spite. But I have no way of verifying that. But he is a cat, so it's not implausible. Because everyone knows that cats have an attitude problem. Ah, shoot. That's number 2. It's going to be a pencil sharpening break at some point. Oh, Lulu, to have just fallen in it or slipped in it would have been comparatively a wonderful trade I would have made had that been on the cards. Just brutal. And you know, you take a shower and then you're just convinced that you're still dealing with it. Yeah. So, you know, anyone under the illusion that I'm living some kind of glamorous life over here? No. Yeah, this is an interesting angle. Tricky, you know? It's got that. And his shorts are actually probably worth drawing in because they're going to give hopefully a little bit of clarity to this overall shape. Compared to Selena, you went above and beyond. No kidding. You know, it's the kind of thing that give you PTSD. Like, just, I think all day I was feeling quite traumatized. Anyway, there you go. Don't tell me I don't share. All right, 12 minutes. Yeah, I'm not surprised this one has taken a bit longer, and I'm not really too happy with it. Interesting exercise, but yeah. Got sidetracked with my story. Yeah, let's move on. This is not exciting me at all, this drawing. Speaking of exciting me, very disappointed with how Oppenheimer cleaned up at the Oscars. it's not that I didn't enjoy it, but I don't know, best everything? I don't know about that. I feel like there were some other worthy contenders. And it cleaned up, didn't it? Did anything get anything else get any Oscars? I don't think so. Anyway, such is life. All right, I think this one is probably going to need to be a 15. This is complex, really complex. At least though, everything's kind of separated from each other. I wonder how many kpm the mess was moving at. It's a strimmer. Sorry, we're going on about this way too much. But you think about how fast that thing spins. How many rotations a second? It's got to have hit me at least 40 miles an hour. Must have, right? Or kph, maybe more. I don't know. I'm sure someone could do the science and figure it out, but yeah, luckily at least it didn't sting. Yeah, you go. I don't know. I thought it was okay. Here's my problem with it. It was too long, and so much of the film focusing on the investigation, and I can't help but think there were probably other interesting elements to that man's life, you know, years later and that type of thing that would have been interesting for him after he had time to reflect more. I don't know, like, I felt shortchanged on it. And 3 hours, get out of here. No movie needs to take that much of my time. It's one thing that's kind of put me off seeing the second Dune. I enjoyed the first one, although once again, thought it was a little slow and a little too much story building with that one. I could have done with a few more spaceships. And a few more worms. We got ripped on the worms in the first one. I know, I haven't read the books, I don't care. I wanted to see more worm action. Apparently we do in the second one. Anyway. Okay. Spoiler alert to anyone who's not seen the films. I don't believe in that. Look, I believe in spoiler alerts for like the first 3 months after they come out. After that, if you haven't seen it, tough shit. You know, like, people are going to need to be able to talk about things. I'm not going to not talk about something because on the possibility that one person who watches the stream hasn't seen it yet and is all upset. Dune's been out 3 years. Longer. Here's the thing, Lulu. I enjoy world building. What I don't enjoy is just minute upon minute of people just talking things out, you know, when you could be showing. I don't know. There was, like, I know it's a lot of world building in Dune. I know it's however 6 books or whatever, and they got a lot to tell. It's like it was a bit of a drag in areas. Thought it looked fantastic. Let me start the clock. Absolutely loved the production design on Dune. Sound design, fantastic. Actually, someone I know. An old fellow student in LA played the flute on that movie. Did a marvelous job. But come on, more worms. All right. lovely set of dynamics going on with the relationship of the legs and the arm. That's the whole thing. Let's see if we can capture some of these ideas. Careful with the length of this leg though. Got it too long right now. Probably about there. Pectoral muscle. What type of world builder is not my cup of tea? Let's focus the conversation with the top tier. Yeah, Dune's been out for 20 years. Yeah, that's true. Longer. Way longer, wasn't it? Volvo. You're potentially showing your age, because things I think happened in the 80s, I go, oh yeah, it was like 20 years ago. No, it wasn't. When did Dune come out? 83, 84, somewhere around there? More closer to 40 years, my friend. Yeah, showing the action of world building. You know, I'll say this just generally about films. I'm very much a first, second act type of person. I love world building. I've been known to turn off a film with 20 minutes to go just because I'm not caring for where the story's going, but I'll watch the hell out of something for good world building. Anyway, yeah. My wife does not understand how I can watch something for an hour and an hour and a half and then be prepared to turn it off 20 minutes before the end. I just don't get that emotionally invested. I actually think the iliac crest is quite a bit higher here, and this leg is higher. If the rib cage is here, iliac crest is actually about here. That needs to be fixed. It shouldn't be a big problem. Yeah, it feels better. It'll be about there. Okay. Then this leg. Coming out this way. Okay. So, oblique sitting here, navel about here, Actually, no. Navel's in. Probably about there. This is a mess. All right, I'm gonna just keep chewing away at it. But I'm not holding out too much hope for this drawing. Let's see, maybe we can salvage something. These long lines. Always a little bit tricky. Something like that. TK was on that. It's not quite 60 TK, but in between the two. First real time. Donna, yeah, check out the new one. The Lynch version's hard work, in my opinion. Not that I've seen much of it, but I've seen enough to know that it's, and I'm a huge sci-fi fan, but that thing looks rough. But one thing you can say is Villeneuve, he knows how to pick the right designers. I'll give him that much. He has a very clear vision and clearly a master at getting it executed. yeah, very kind of unforgiving pose, this. I kind of knew it would be. Okay, let's keep going for a few more minutes on this one, because as much as you'd have every right to walk away from a pose like this, you know. There's definitely poses that, you know, if I wasn't streaming, I would get about 10 minutes into and absolutely just abandon them and just say, that's more trouble than it's worth. But that's not quite as easy to do when other people are also drawing along and wouldn't be setting a great example. I do too. You're very kind. What can I say? Maybe you're thinking about a different pose. I don't know. Thank you, Donna. Yes, if you could hit the like button, much appreciated. I like sci-fi. I was brought up watching Star Trek. I still rewatch them every once in a while. So do I. I've got to say, for me, the sweet spot was Next Generation, and that show's like comfort food to me. Sometimes I'll just put it on to have it as noise in the background, and you know, it just feels like something familiar. I never even put that other arm in, did I? So it's coming down this way. Probably could have done without putting it in at all, quite honestly. Yeah, the old Star Treks. You know, the first one with Shatner and Spock, I really enjoyed as a kid, but haven't been able to get back into that one in the same way I can with Next Generation. Same thing with Deep Space Nine. Really enjoyed that kind of first time round, but don't really revisit that one. This drawing is, I think it's, well, it's definitely for the fire. So how much longer do we really spend on it? That's the question. Yeah. Made of bags of that. All right, let's move on. All I remember from the Trekkies, the hands, was too young to understand or remember any of it as a kiddo. Fair enough. Well, me too. I wasn't around in the 60s, in fairness. Even the first series, I don't think I saw till many years after it actually aired. Star Trek was on my mum's TV so often. It was a case of learn or just go out to play. If it was too cold to go out, you didn't get much choice. You see, your mum had taste. Farscape is still my favorite. Jeffrey, I've heard so many people tell me that Farscape is an awesome show, and I am genuinely a sci-fi fan, but I have never got round to watching Farscape. I know what we're going to follow up with here. I've got to give it a go. I realize I do. You know what the thing is with Farscape? It's almost like there's a commitment level there that I need to have the right time and the right space to be able to give it the attention that I'm sure it deserves. But I've heard many people say it's one of the best, for sure. Kind of grew up with cartoon Samurai Jack. Megas XLR, I don't even know what that is. A few old school anime that I've since forgotten. I like the concept of the trouble being brought to station DS9 rather than traveling to find problems. And Voyager got sent to the other side of the galaxy. Yeah, there was something kind of appealing about Deep Space Nine. I'd like to give that another watch at some point. All right, we're moving to landscape. Let's just kind of the mood I'm in. I'm going to keep this relatively quick. Let's go for like a 10 on this. Jeffrey says, found a really old sci-fi cartoon, Space Angel, early Hanna-Barbera style, but not using real people mouths, but using real people mouths superimposed. Yes. Now, there was some movie that did a throwback to that, or put that show in its movie. It was a somewhat recent film. God, that was lazy, wasn't it? Like, good Lord. Like, it's not that hard to animate 3 or 4 different mouths and just, you know, repeat them. Okay, next pose. Let's do it. Let me reset the clock. As I said, let's go for 10 to 12. Let's not flog this one to death. It's a fun pose though. Oh, let me actually set the clock. There we go. Yeah, old school in a cheapo way. A product of its time. You know, 70s Hollywood, a lot of coke, A lot of questionable decisions being made. Someone sat down at 2 o'clock in the morning and came up with that concept and thought it was the best idea ever. And everyone loved how much money it would save. We can get them out quick. It'll be awesome. Well, you know, that's what happens. This is an odd pose, isn't it? Yeah, me neither, Donna. Star Trek Discovery didn't do it for me. In fact, I haven't seen, I've heard the one on, is it on Peacock? I've heard it's meant to be good, but I don't have that service, and I'm not sure I'm prepared to pay for it right now. Very interesting shape to his rib cage around the back end here. We'll get to that. There's definitely some interesting things to explore. Got quite a lot of, well, we've got severe, I say severe, maybe that's the wrong choice of words. We've got heavy foreshortening on the upper torso. That is going to be an interesting little puzzle to solve. Let's block this in for now. Kung Fury. I don't know if I've seen that. Star Trek Picard was interesting only because they tried to bring back the original cast, but there were so many inconsistencies to the original story and character of the Next Generation. You bring up I so wanted to like that show. When I heard it was happening, I was so excited for it. And it completely went in a different direction to what I thought it would do. I feel like, personally, I feel like it was a massively missed opportunity to really show, you know, because Picard was such a kind of philosophical and thoughtful kind of character. To me, like when I heard it was happening, I'm like, okay, they're going to really kind of tell some, hopefully they're going to tell meaningful stories and really kind of lean into how philosophical he was as a character. Could not have been further from the truth, or from what they ended up doing, and so disappointing. I think I stuck with it for 3 or 4 episodes, 5 maybe, and it was just, there was just no way I could carry on. Because it just felt like more of the same, and I wasn't looking for more of the same. They could have done so much with that. Such a shame. And I've heard some people say, oh, it gets better, you know, like by the 3rd season it's really good. I'm sorry, but you got to get me, if you think I'm sitting through 3 seasons or something waiting for it to get good, that ain't happening. Life's too short. Yeah, agree. Well, yeah, it's just what we've seen. Have any of you all seen Brett Spinner's character on the US show Night Court? No. I do like Brett, but I have never seen Night Court. Is it any good? Oh, now I'm rolling over drawings. Picard had a son that we didn't find out about till season 3. Who was his mother, Dr. Crusher? Oh, well, that's a surprise. Who did not tell Picard, but didn't we find out he had a son in Next Generation too? Or at least potentially a son. I forget the storyline. He was only in it for 1 episode. No. And look, is it any surprise him and Crusher had a kid? Come on. Like, could those two have been any more kind of, what's the word? You know. The writing was on the wall, let's just put it that way. All right. He was not his son, the Ferengi doctored his generation. Nice one, Donna. Yeah, you're schooling me. You're absolutely right now you say it. I said 10 minutes for this, didn't I? Yeah, that's not going to happen. Oh, the Ferengi. Good stuff. What a great world. Like, really. We all know a Ferengi in our lives, don't we? Think it's safe to say. Yeah, just despicable. Yeah, I do want to just play around with this pose for a few more minutes because there is some interesting shape language to be had. I'm hoping at least we can capture something of it. This is going to be tricky. This feels like it could be music from a Next Generation episode. Yeah, I think when this stream is done, I'm gonna go light a fire, put on some Next Generation, just for a minute or two. I'm in the mood. Yikes. Oh, literally just tore right through the paper there. That's a first. Yeah, that literally, I don't think that's ever happened on the stream before. Well, there you go. Exclusive. Oh, now Rick pipes up. Your timing's impeccable, Rick. Doing good, thanks, man. Hope you're well. Yeah, doing good. You've missed all the action today. We had story time. I'm talking about sci-fi movies for the last hour. It's all been happening. All right, let's keep going here. This is going to potentially turn into a longer pose than I had planned. It's such a strange pose, isn't it, when I look at it now? I do like it though. Oh, you heard the cat poop story, Rick. Oh, so you've been watching in the background, huh? Don't take away from my trauma. It was a very deep subject. You have no idea how scarred I am from that situation. How dare you belittle my cat poop story. It was a Greek tragedy. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds about right. Keep in mind, strimmer tips spin at close to 400 miles an hour, so don't forget the eye and ear protection. Yes, it's funny, you're absolutely right. I always wear ear protection. I'm a little bit hit and miss with the eye protection, and I know there's no excuse for that. Other than the bloody eye protection fogs up in the worst way. But no, I have a healthy dose of tinnitus that always reminds me to wear the ear protection. Probably a bit late, considering I already have the tinnitus, but I guess there is a logic that it won't get worse. Now, this leg, oops, my legs aren't sitting correctly in space. I think this one is actually more foreshortened. I'm going to leave it. I don't care. Because I don't want to spend the time it would take to fix that. All right, I got the overall large idea of the pose. I'm happy enough with that. Cool. All right. Where are we at time-wise? 6:30. Okay, so... And I think we've got, what, 2 poses left? Yeah. We could do a couple of 10s, huh? Could have been worse if you were singing while you worked. Jeffrey, there is still debate about whether I ingested any of that. I don't remember it happening, but my mouth was agape. I feel like if it happened, I've scrubbed it from my memory, but I'm not completely ruling it out. What's the first question my wife asked me? I wear a full-face gas mask when working with more dangerous stuff. Have some old school ones from the 80s. Good Lord, that's commitment, Lulu. Wow. You see, I couldn't work like that. That would drive me nuts. Be too claustrophobic. Richard may have worms. They're a very good chance. Who knows what happened? Shift delete from memory. Yeah, I think that's what happened. All right. Yeah. Good Lord. Not my finest hour. Although arguably, well, it was my fault. All right. I feel like I'm the butt of a joke. That's fine. I did bring it on myself. I could have kept that story to myself, and no one would have been any the wiser. I do need to do a quick pencil sharpen here, kids. But no, I decided to share my story, to be vulnerable for a minute, and like in the schoolyard, they jumped on it like vultures. Understandably, I would too. I don't know. What did Rodney Dangerfield say? I get no respect. Sorry, not the most exciting thing to watch. You would think 5 pencils would be enough for a stream, but these things are so soft that They just wear down so fast. I really should get a couple more into the rotation so we don't have to have this pause. Anyway, almost done. You can't rush this process, you see. If you rush this and you end up doing this type of thing, you'll end up hacking the tip right off. All right, we don't need any jokes there. And yeah, we don't want that. Fun stuff, huh? The worst is when you've gone to all the trouble to sharpen it and then you do this part and it snaps on you. I've had that happen many a time. And then it's just like, back to square one with that pencil. Plus all the real estate you lose on the pencil too, which is upsetting in its own right. Okay. Ah, Lulu. Kudos for sharing. Thanks, Rick. It's not the end of the world. It's fine. Probably if it was truly traumatic, well, it was pretty traumatic, but you know, I could have kept it to myself. Volvo says, does newsprint come in a variety of ambiguous toothiness, depending on the brand? That's a good question, Volvo. I think generally you've got rough and smooth newsprint, and they are quite a different experience to draw on. I do not like rough newsprint at all. Some people like it, not for me. Generally the smooth, at least in my experience here in the UK, the smooth has all been pretty consistent, and I have bought from a couple of different suppliers. So yeah, I would say it's generally pretty good, but you know, you know, your mileage may vary depending on where you are in the world. Art book when? Chai Drinks asks. I'll tell you when the art book's coming, Chai. I would like to say in the next 3 years. The thing with the art book is I do plan on doing one. I think it'd be a nice thing, right? Oh, let me start the timer. I do plan on doing one, but if I'm gonna do that, I want to do the whole process justice, or the product justice. And it feels, as someone who has not written a book before or compiled a book before, I've got to say it does feel like a monumental process. Especially given the fact that I would really like to do something that could hopefully, you know, hopefully be a statement. I'd like to do something that I could really be proud of. And it does feel, yeah, it does feel like a huge project. But I do like the idea of an art book. I also then I kind of go back and forth on, do I want to do something instructional or more coffee table book, or both? Maybe you could do both, or maybe then it's 2 different books. I'm not sure. But yes, I do think about it. I do like the idea of doing it. So all I'll say for now is at some point, yes. Because you see, here's the thing also, which is also maybe a little bit part of the dilemma, is the place of books in society and what we use them for, and especially something like an art book. What's its place in the big scheme of things? I think as far as, you know, if we look at an educational book as the, you know, its primary purpose to be the transference of ideas from one person to another, I think that there's more, at least for me and my style of teaching, I think that there's more effective, potentially more effective paths or vehicles than a book. I believe that drawing is, not that I believe, drawing is something that happens in real time. And it's one of the reasons I enjoy doing these streams so much, is because we get an opportunity to see something get created in front of our eyes, right? And it's very immediate. And there's something about that as an art form that I really like. And I think that that gets lost in a book. But as a way to present my drawing or my art, well, that's obviously the best vehicle there is, right? A good quality book. Coffee table first. Yeah, I tend to agree. The problem is, I don't feel like I've done my best work yet. And I know what's going to happen is I'm going to put the book out and I'm going to hate every drawing that's in it shortly after it comes out. And so it's a case of like, well, when? How long do you wait? Because I'm never going to be satisfied with my work. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is there. And I think that's the other problem, is I just don't feel like I've got enough good drawings to fill a book. Well, certainly not the kind of book I'd want to spend money on. Does that make sense? This is higher. Something like that. Patrick Jones books are $250 US used. Yeah, I've seen this. There's quite the market. You see, he's smart. Supply and demand. If they want 10, you give them 9. I have space and ocean books, and I want Richards right there as part of my decor. Well, thank you. That's very kind of you, Jeffrey. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's not to say that you can't explain an idea in a book, Lulu, obviously. But is that in our current day and age and where we are with technology and all the rest, is that still the best vehicle? I'm not sure. I know there are always going to be people that are fans of books and just they like books. I get it. I like a good book. But is it the best way for me to teach my subject? I'm not sure. Oblique, rib cage, latissimus. Where are we at time-wise? 1:45. Okay, we've got one more pose after this, don't we? I said 10 minutes for these, didn't I? Okay. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. Seems to me after what you said, you should wait a bit. Yeah, you see, this is it, Rick. Although am I ever going to feel like, okay, this is a body of work I want to put into print and immortalize on some level. And I'm not convinced I'm ever going to feel that way. So maybe I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think I wait a little bit longer. At the same time, you know, then there's another side of me that's like, every now and then when I find myself in a bookshop, you know, go check out some of those figure drawing instructional books, and frankly, I get a bit angry at what some people, not all, but what some people are charging money for. And it does annoy me that I don't have something in that space to compete. Because there's some real shit out there, to put it politely. Anyway. Oh, we're at the 10-minute mark. Okay. I'm going to leave this there. Cool. There's some funny comments. Jeffrey said, I just started Patrick's tutorials that uses his books with the instructions. Awesome. Patrick's done some great books. I like books. I don't own a Kindle. Yeah, you know, this comes back to like that age-old debate, doesn't it? About just people liking the tactile kind of experience of a book. Can't beat having a book in your hand as opposed to electronic. Yeah, there is something to be said for it. Run it by editors. Drink on it. All good advice. Sounds like a winter project. I think it's a multi-winter project, Jeffrey. That's what scares me. People charge money for a banana stuck to a wall with duct tape. Yeah, pretty much. Seems to me teaching is running on all cylinders. Maybe do an instruction book. Yeah, this is it. There's a lot to kind of consider with this. You know, if you write a book in a few months and rewrite it several times, you should be able to fix most things you're not happy with. Do it with my personal book. Yeah, no, it's true. But once again, it's a very time-consuming. Very time-consuming pursuit, because I'd like to do something that I could be really proud of, you know. Like, God, I don't even have I've got to get it together. I don't even have the tutorials on YouTube that I want to have up there yet, let alone writing it on the book. Anyway, let's do the final pose. Right? We all ready? It's a tricky one. It's an interesting one. We'll do a 10. I wanted to get a Frazetta book, like a nerd, but they're all like 50. 50, or use Google image search for free. But yeah, it comes back to that thing of, though, some people want the ownership, don't they? Cat poop books are trending. I'd like to know how to, okay, let's not get into cat psychology. Our cat needs a talking to. He needs to understand that if he's going to stay with us any longer, he needs a behavioral adjustment. Yeah, I think 3 months is probably a little optimistic, to say the least. I think 3 years sounds more like it. Although once again, it comes back. Are you doing 8 hours a day, or are you pottering? You know, like, how big is the book? That's the other question. All right, 10 minutes. So many things to consider. This is a tough one because our shoulders are, the axis of the shoulders are kind of moving in this direction, but we've got an extreme twist in this torso. So let's kind of figure it out as we go along here. And then this leg shooting out this way. Tibia coming down there. This leg kind of going away from us slightly. Going out this way. Center line is here, but this arm is literally, the head of the humerus is here. It's an extreme twist. Like the kind of twist that you would think you would break. And then this arm shooting back this way. This is lower. Right there. $12 to 14 hours a day, 2,200 pages, 1.13 million words long. Okay, Donnie, well, you're clearly doing something on a whole nother level. Let's face it, that's not your average book by any measure, is it? Good for you. But I don't think that's that can't be representative of any model, book writing model that you know, that would be practical, at least for me. Sounds torturous. do what you love, man. Who fecking cares what the others offer? Ah, T2, are you Irish? You must be. Who else uses fecking with an E? There you go. Learn something new. How are you, mate? I'm good, mate. How you doing, Constantinus? You good? Hanging in there? We're down to the last pose, Constantinus. You were a little late to the party. But we've had a bit of fun today, I think. Drawing hasn't been great, truth be told. But the conversation's been interesting. Sometimes that's enough. It's going to have to be, isn't it? Yeah, crazy dynamics here. Well, I'm glad to hear that I can bring you a little bit of something, Donna, to take your mind off it for a moment. That is a serious amount of work. Congratulations. Well, congratulations when you get it done. Yeah, this pose is interesting, Rick, to say the least. Like if you took, let's just, obviously I have no idea what your subject matter is, Donna, but like if we just took, for example, all of the like Lord of the Ring books or something, how many words are you talking? What does 1.3 million words even compare to? As far as what's out there already, I need to understand, like, you know, what is there? Has anyone ever written 1.3 million words before? I don't even know. That's how much I know about writing. But what would be comparable to that? Like all the Harry Potter books, would that be 1.3 million words? How many words are in a book? So many questions. Good Lord, this is a bad drawing. All right, I've got to hit the brakes on this, I think. I'm not sure there's any salvaging this at all. Let's try. We'll give it a couple of minutes. Come on, we said 10, didn't we? So we'll stick it through till the end of the 10. But this might truly be the worst drawing of a bad drawing session, which is saying something. Oh, now it's just falling apart. What happened? Tell you what happened. I think I've been distracted. I can tell when I'm distracted. I think I'm distracted. Five hundred and 570,000 words are all the Lord of the Ring books. There you go. Nice one, Lulu. Thanks, Contemporaneous. That's what Google says anyway. Fellowship of the Ring, 2 towers, blah, 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 500K. Yeah, that sounds like something you'd want to break up into multiple parts, as says someone who knows nothing about what it is you're writing or anything, so what do I know? But that's mad in a good way. I support people going for it. I think this arm is a real issue. Like the way his little pinkies just out like that. Plop. Alright, give this a couple more minutes and get the hell out of here. Go watch Star Trek. Yikes. How many pencil strokes in a drawing book? Rick, you know, we talk about something called pencil mileage, right? Like, especially like the work that I do or did, haven't done it in a while, in animation, we would often talk in terms of pencil mileage. Either how much pencil mileage a particular character was going to be, you know, if there was a lot of detail on it, you would talk about it in those terms, pencil mileage. And I've often wondered, how many miles have I drawn? Like if you added up all of the different lines, It's got to be some serious distance, right? I would imagine. Like throughout the whole career, I would have to say that there's some miles there. Not all quality, but miles nonetheless. All right, let's do something like that. So weird. I talk about butchering. A pose. All right. That feels like as good a place as any to call it. Yikes. Sorry, fella. I didn't do you justice. I tried for a little bit to do you justice. That helps. That does help just a tiny bit. Lighten that up. There we go. Tiny bit. They can't all be gold. Speaking of which, don't forget to get your Yorkshire Gold tea. We're going to try and get them to be a sponsor. No, I'm kidding. Take your time to decide what you put in an art book. Yes, exactly. Problem is, hopefully I don't procrastinate too long. It's got to be a whole lot more than a few miles. Right, Lulu? You would think. Like just in this stream alone, there's been some mileage. That's fascinating, Donna. Greek mythology. All right. That's no mean feat. Good for you. Google says the average round... Lulu, you're awesome. Google says the average round wooden HB pencil can draw a line 35 miles long. Holy moly. And... okay, yeah, I still can't do the math. That is crazy fact. I don't doubt, you know, why would I doubt it? That's crazy. Then I've probably got thousands of miles. Wow. Am I, it's not high. Fair comment, Rick. Yeah, it does feel like we all got a bit baked, doesn't it? That's funny. After being banished over PG Tips last week, I managed to procure both Barry's and Yorkshire Gold. I hope to have my knighthood reinstated. That's... You're back in the gang, Jaeger. Guys and gals, or whatever your persuasion, that was a fun stream. Not the greatest drawings in the world, but what are we going to do? It's a Monday. We'll cut ourselves some slack, right? Yeah, we're kind of baked. I think it does certainly come across like the high stream. Good times. I enjoyed that. That was a bit of fun. The drawing wasn't great, but the conversation was epic. So really, isn't that what matters? Take care, Rick. And to all of you, take care. I will be back Thursday. Same time, same place. Please remember to hit the like button. And bring your factoids on Thursday. This was fun. We can talk about more movies. Whatever. It's all good. It's fun. All right, guys. Keep drawing. And I will see you all on Thursday. All right. Take care of yourselves. Cheers. Bye.